Good morning, everybody. It's my favorite time of the year. It's tier changes day, which means I get an easy video and hopefully we get it done before my computer blows up. So today we're covering the July changes. We're going to cover all of it as per usual. We'll go over just all the rises and drops. We'll go over OU specific usage. We'll go over the top 10 usage for every other tier, and then we'll go over the specific percentages just to see like how used or not used these Pokemon were. So first of all, we got some very interesting OU rises, as you guys can see. We'll zoom in a little bit here. Ceruledge, deoxys-speed, Scizor, and Weezing-Galar are all in OU now. So the interesting thing here, trend here, is that two of these are defog users. Now, I don't think Scizor ever uses defog in OU, but it can use defog. And it doesn't have recovery, which is the main reason why it doesn't really use defog anymore, but it's available to it. Deoxys-speed, I haven't really seen this thing a whole lot, and quite honestly, I haven't seen Ledge a whole lot either, so I'm a little surprised these two are back in OU. So we'll look at the specific percentages here in a little bit. As I said though, I need to shut my ringer off because Discord is going nuts right now. Alright, next up we got Manaphy. Manaphy is back officially in UU. It was technically already UU because it was RUBL, but it's now officially back in UU, which makes sense. Slitherwing though is an interesting one because it has a lot of competition in low kicks. And yet here it is. I personally think the Slitherwing is a worse version of low kicks, so I'm very surprised to see it here, but nonetheless it's there. And I don't even think Sun is in UU. So again, just an interesting addition. I haven't played UU in a while though, so I'm probably not an expert on this situation, but yeah, Pheasantipiti's up in UU. Pheasantipiti's always been like an underrated, very good Pokemon. It has very bulky Spadef. It's great. It has a great move pool. It has Moonblast. Does it have U-turn or parting shot? It might have both, honestly. It has beat up, so it has good moves to activate its toxic chain as well. So yeah, very good, strong Pokemon. Not surprised there at all. Good typing too. Poison Fairies, very cool typing. Of course, well by Steels, but good typing nonetheless. Looks like we got some RU raises. Gallade and Lycanroc Sunset are both officially in RU now. And then Gastro and Alolan Muck are both in RU, which is crazy because I feel like these two were very core Pokemon in stall teams in NU, and now they're gone. So looks like when we do a certain Breloom video in the next few days, we might not have to rage quit, which We'll talk about that later. We got some contracts figured out though. I'm excited about it. And then in the NU world, we got Mr. Shell Smash Guy officially back in NU. Altaria, Electric Guy. The thing is what I prefer calling it because I hate this thing. And then we got Mr. Pull Your Pants Up, Scrafty up in NU. Interesting. And interesting one here. Braviary's jumped all the way from ZU to NU, so that's cool. We'll maybe have to try Braviary out. I'd be curious to see what its role is in NU. Hariyama is up from ZUBL to PU, and then also Quillfish is UI, and then Brute Bonnet. The Brute Bonnet is up in PU. This thing dropped to ZU like 6 months ago, and now it's back in PU, which by itself probably wouldn't be interesting, but there's another familiar Pokemon that dropped to PU, yeah, kind of cool. So we'll go down from the beginning of the drop tier though. So Tinkaton just got to OU in the last rises and drops, and now it's back down to NU. This will be good for UU though, because this will help between Slitherwing and low kicks. This is a good Pokemon to have back in NU for those purposes. So good for that. Some interesting RU drops here. Blissey is going right back down the tiering chain. Goodbye, you stupid pink blob. Ozerpin though is down in RU, which is kind of crazy. And then Serp is down in RU. Serp kind of struggled in UU, which is surprising because I mean it's always been like a very strong Pokemon, so a little shocking there, but yeah. And then Feraligatr and Suicune did drop from RU, but they're still technically RU Pokemon because they were previously banned from NU. So yeah, they're still not going to be allowed to be in NU, but as a technicality, they're not in the usage tier for RU anymore. Berry, Polly, and Ripe, though, are down in NU. Rhyperior was UU actually about 9 months ago, I want to say. So this guy's kind of falling off hard. But it is what it is. The interesting thing here is both the rain guys are in NU now. So we're going to have to play around with that. Like I was hinting at like 1 minute ago, Amoonguss is down in PU. So yeah, you got Amoonguss and then you got Historic Amoonguss, both in PU. So could have some fun troll strats there. And then Porygon 2 dropped all the way down to ZU. So maybe some potential Trick Room teams could be used in the PU and NU, or not NU, but the PU and ZU tiers, possibly. I never thought this thing was super good in NU, as fun as it was, but yeah, that makes sense. So, potential Trick Room now in the lower tiers, which could be fun, because Porygon 2 is very good at stunning Trick Room. So, on to the next. We got our Scarlet and Violet OU usage stats for June. We keep seeing this meta get healthier and healthier. Kingambit and Great Tusk used to be so disproportionately above everything else, and now they've really settled down. Great Tusk at 32% honestly is very reasonable, considering it how much utility it provides. I actually think 32 is a little like low, honestly, considering how good of a Pokemon it is. It is the new generation Landorus Therian, providing hazard removal, hazard setting. It doesn't have pivot, that's the only thing, but it does have utility and knockoff, and it is a much stronger Pokemon. Not have Intimidate, so its ability is sometimes worthless, which, I mean, I can't imagine this Pokemon with a good ability. It would literally be insane, but Shadow's Great Tusk, great Pokemon. Kingambit's still number 2, Golden is still number 3, Zamazenta is still, I don't know if it's still number 4 or not, but it's been in the top 10 since it's basically got here. Ozerpin W, which, okay, I could talk about Zamazenta for a while, actually. This Pokemon is just wild. The fact that it's here, the fact that it has 680 BSC and it is here, and it is actually, like, not the most broken thing in the world is just insane. Yeah, just a crazy Pokemon overall. Ozerpin 5 in the top 5. Ozerpin 5 in the top 5, excuse me, good lord. Dragonite 6, Iron Val 7, Kyurem 8. I was thinking about Kyurem. Kyurem's an interesting one. I am very glad it did not end up getting banned. I think Kyurem's actually found like a decently healthy like spot in the metagame. It's like super scary, but it's not unbeatable per se. And I'm actually very glad it didn't end up getting banned, because I do feel like it does serve a decent role in the metagame. Ting-Lu up at number 9, so Ting-Lu's back in the top 10, and Dragapult stays at the top 10, barely at number 10. Landorus at 11. I won't go through all of these, but I do want to point out some, and that would be Ceruledge, which actually is comfortably in the top 4.52% cutoff at number 29. And then we got Deoxys-Speed made it in as number 32. Weezing-Galar made it as number 34. And where's the last guy I'm supposed to be looking for here? 1, 2, 3. Where's guy number 4? Hold on, no. There's 4 guys came up to OU. So where's the 4th one? Am I tripping? No, I'm not tripping here, right? Wait, oh, that's correct. Okay, so it would appear that let me go back and look. So Scizor is in OU, but remember, folks, these are just usage stats for June. So Scizor's usage in as accumulation of June, May, and April have allowed it to be in OU. It's not just this month, and we'll look at its specific usage here in a minute. But let's go to the top 10. So the main reason I look at the top 10 isn't because Smogon provides a graphic, which they do. So of course I'm going to take advantage of that, but also because I like seeing who was in the top 10 of tiers that got rose to the next tier, because that's going to it doesn't always drastically change it per se, but it is going to majorly affect how the tier is now going to run from now on. So yeah, we got to look at that. And first of all, deoxys-speed, number 2. The number 2 Pokemon is now no longer usable. Kind of crazy. Ozerpin regular dropping kind of makes sense, since Ozerpin Cornerstone is up to number 5. I don't think this thing used to always have this much usage, but yeah, it's really gone up. So it makes sense. I do wonder how long Ozerpin regular will last in RU. I feel like it's a really strong Pokemon. It's able to boost its speed at any time just by clicking the Terra button. So yeah, interesting fellow. Now looking at the rest of the tiers, I'm actually not seeing any. Oh, Makalola at number 7. Yep, no longer usable. Can't use that guy anymore. That's kind of crazy. Weezing-Galar, number 4. Yep, can't use that guy in RU anymore. He's up in OU. He didn't even give UU a chance. PU. No, not seeing any of those guys in ZU. Quillfish is UI. Yep, no, the 8th most used guy in ZU is no longer usable. Now, this is kind of crazy seeing Mesprit. Look at Mesprit here, folks. 47%, almost 50, almost half, almost every other team uses Mesprit. That is kind of insane. I'm sure I'm overlooking a couple Pokemon here, but I don't think I am. I think I hit them all. But yeah, that's our usage stats for June. And now looking at the nitty gritty, because I'm curious to see, this is the weighted stats. So this is all the months combined. And as you can see, Scizor actually is at 4.763. So it's comfortably in OU actually, even despite the fact that it wasn't even making the 4.52 cutoff this like tier shift. Weavile was barely in it at 4.564, and so it's 0.04 above the cutoff point. And then there's a pretty steep drop actually into once you get to Heatran here at 3.89%, which is interesting. As you can see though, there were 39 Pokemon that overall made the cut, and there's only 36 who would have made it this past month, which I think is kind of interesting to point out. I'm trying to see what the other ones were that made this cut but weren't actually in the graphic. Ceruledge was in the graphic, and I think Ceruledge being here also says something. We should look at this here real quick. So Ceruledge was the 36th most used Pokemon in the past 3 months with a 5.14% usage, but in the graphic was pretty comfortably in at 29. That's a pretty big jump in usage in the past month. We'll have to try out Ceruledge, see what all the hype is. So again, looking at the Pokemon that didn't make the graphic versus Pokemon here, Scizor obviously is one. Heatran was the other. No, not Heatran, excuse me. Scizor and Weavile. Both those guys didn't make the graphic. I'm trying to see who the other one was though. Excuse me, folks. Just having a look. Oh, Walking Wake. Walking Wake also didn't make the graphic. Wow. That Pokemon used to be in like the top 15 usage. So that's insane seeing how far it's dropped. Looking at UU here real quick, I want to see where Ogerpin regular was. Superior barely was under the cut, by the way, about 0.2%. So that's not barely, but you know, it's 0.2 below it. Ogerpin was 0.4 below it, and then Blissey was almost a full percentage point below it. That is crazy. As you can see, Politoed actually was 3.914. I'm actually interested to see if that actually makes it more used than it was in RU. Because it dropped from RU. So yeah, Politoed was at 3.617 in RU, but in UU, it was at 3.914. So it was actually more used in UU than it was in RU. I love it when weird meta niches and get carved out like this. That's very interesting. Cool. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll be back with a video tomorrow. Let me know what you guys want to see. Okay, so I have... maybe I should run like a poll or something. If I should run a poll, smash like, and if I shouldn't run a poll, then I don't know why you're watching this video, but also smash like anyway. So here's our options. In terms of these tier changes, we could run Rain and Inu because Politoed and Berries drop down. The double Shroom Core, which would be Amoonguss and the Brute Ballnet. Ceruledge in Scizor and OU. I'm interested to try both of those out. Serp and Ogerpin regular and RU. It's kind of an interesting like grass core we could run. And then Porygon to Trick Room in PU or ZU. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Thank you all very much for watching. Have fun with these tier shifts, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.